Good morning, everyone. My name is Vishal Anand. I work as the systems manager for the Emirates Group. We're working in the HR department. And today I have my colleague Dinesh. He's from our IT department. And today we would like to share our journey and our experience with regards to implementing a state-of-the-art talent acquisition system into our organization. Before I go into the details, can I hear from the audience how many of you all have already implemented Oracle Taleo or planning to implement or considering to implement? Can I have a raise of hands? Considered. Okay, I have a couple of people over here. I hope you find this session useful. Dinesh, come over here. Right. Right, before we go into the details of our implementation, I just wanted to talk about our complexities, right? You would have seen Kim presenting challenges, different challenges which we have, and continual growth is a challenge, and it's a very good challenge we have, and we are very glad that we have this challenge because, and I'm sure with the recent financial crisis and also, we were very lucky and fortunate enough that it did not have that much big impact for our organization. So continual growth, to put it in the context of a talent acquisition system, right? To give you a context, we have about 10,000 employees joining us every year, and which this translates to about 200 of them joining every week. And that's quite a big number, right? And that is broken down with regards to about 120 of them are in the crew, and about 80 people of them are joining from different varied job groups, right? So this is about 200 of them we are joining every week. And from a recruitment perspective, it becomes an immense challenge, right? We have about 2,000 plus jobs. And as you would have seen from Kim's earlier presentation, Emirates Group is not just one organization. We have about 44 different brands on its own, right? To give an example, we have Emirates Holidays, we have Arabian Adventures, we have Danata Travel Services, and so on and so forth. So this brings in a perspective of having 2,000 different jobs, which our recruitment department has to source and fulfill for all the 10,000 plus new hires we have. And when you put from a recruitment hat and you have a look at it, we have to shift for every interview or every candidate we select, we have to interview about a minimum of 4, which means we sift through thousands of applications every day or the month and select that one individual who goes through that final nod. And this means on an average, we actually get 35,000 applications every month, and out of which 10,000 plus, apart from this, we have 10,000 plus other applicants who are existing applicants who have updated their profiles. So around the volume is the biggest bane which we have in the sense, and that is where the growth becomes an explicit challenge or a complexity. And as with many organizations over here, and you would agree, expat population is 90% of our workforce, around 50,000 employees, 90% of them are expats. And out of these 90%, about 40% of them are always mobile. That is, they're never on the ground, always flying at any given point in time, right? So the challenge of attracting talent for such kind of roles across the globe is another biggest complexity which we face from a talent acquisition perspective. And again, a diverse organization, and I mentioned it earlier, we are 44 plus different unique brands which we have, and each brands have their own unique identity which they would want to not lose. So there is and from a support services perspective, that is like recruitment is a central function across all these brands, we have to ensure that the consistency is maintained and we are able to use and leverage the brand to attract the different talents. And last but not the least, we are between Emirates and Danata, we are globally spread across 90 countries. Now that means talent acquisition complying to the regulation requirements of the respective countries is also another complexity. So combined to all of these complexities, now if I see from recruitment perspective, the key challenges, if I have to summarize, would be the continuous increasing growth, where we need to make sure that we have smarter recruitment tools which will enable us do quicker recruitment. we need to make sure that we cater to the different group requirements. That is 2,000 plus different jobs, which has its own set of competencies, own set of accountabilities, and own set of skill sets that is required. And the world is changing. In the olden days, when we started our career website, it was around way back in '95. It was just a single application form, right? It's an ASP application you fill in and submit. But world is changing, right? We have this LinkedIn's which have come in, we have this Facebooks, and we have the social media has actually increased, right? So we need to ensure that we move away from the traditional methodology to integrate it with social media. And given the volumes, our large challenge which we face is about 100 plus team of recruitment departments spend significant amount of time going through the shortlisting process. And then again, they have to also engage the hiring managers to ensure, and they work collaboratively to ensure that we find that right set of candidates whom we can call for assessments and in interviews. And lastly, and the least but not the least, the analytics. We had a huge challenge in knowing where the demand is coming from, when is it coming, and how are we doing with regards to performance. So these are the key challenges, and we were hoping which is that one tool which will help us mitigate these complexities and these challenges, and that's where we went for Oracle Taleo. So what are we looking for in Oracle Taleo, right? So we wanted to make sure that we make use of recruiter style so that we can have a smart shortlisting process. We want to extend the application, not just limited to the recruitment team. We wanted to expand that application to the entire hiring managers themselves, they will have the capability to actually shortlist. So we were looking for that. We wanted the best of the world, because being Emirates, over the years, we have built in our old standard processes, right? So maybe which has not matured with regards to time. So we were looking out what is happening as a best practice across the world, where we can align and adapt, but at the same time should be flexible so that we can also tailor our built-in customized processes which we have built over the year to also accommodate into the product. And no recruitment system or any system, I'm sure you'll agree, and I think since morning, since yesterday we have been hearing multiple presentations. No system will work in an isolation. Today's world, it is very important that the system is capable enough to integrate with multiple systems. And that is the key backbone of any implementation, and I think that is what we are also looking for. And lastly, we want to enhance the candidate experience, right? We want to use our brands to attract the talent, and we want to make it easy for them to apply for our websites. Because in today's world, when we have monsters and Naukris, candidates, the number of candidates who are actually going to specific organizations for applying for a job also are in the diminishing trend. But luckily for Emirates, that has never been a challenge, and we wanted to ensure the candidate experience also is not compromised. So we went about ensuring that we selected Oracle Taleo, and interestingly, this was the cusp of the period where we were considering to go for iRecruit as a product, because that was you have seen we are an e-business suite. But at the same time, we had this development where Oracle had taken over Taleo, and then we thought that at the right opportunity, or this is the right time to go shift over to the Fusion world as well. That's where we made that transition. So what did we do as part of our implementation? We ensured that we need to handle volumes, and as I said, going through every month 35,000 plus new applications is not an easy task, and then we need to ensure that we provide tools to our recruitment team to handle the bulk volumes or the large volumes. We built something called as ACE questions for all the 2,000 plus jobs. Now ACE is a very Taleo specific terminology. It stands for ability, capabilities, and experience. Basically, it's a set of questionnaires which you can configure for every job, which will help the candidate. It will be able to identify and shortlist and narrow the candidates so that the volumes will be reduced for a recruiter to look into. And then we enabled smart tools with the help of our IT department. We expanded the Taleo's capabilities to have smart tools to do bulk uploads of CVs, which we get a high volume of manual CVs as referrals within the organization, because we have 50,000 plus employees. There are quite a few of CVs which we receive manually, which is not applied to the CV. So even the recruiters need that tools to actually do the bulk upload. And in the previous days, right, before this system, we spent significant amount of time organizing candidates for interviews, right? Because we need to make sure that the hiring managers are available, the candidates are available, and last but not the least, the flights are available if we need to fly them back over here to make the assessment and interviews. So we had spent significant of admin time in actually arranging and organizing the interviews, and the biggest help we got is with the Taleo Scheduling Center, where we have empowered the applicants to actually give their preferences, and which will help us manage the whole scheduling cycle. And I said, but when we said 2,500 jobs, right, which are unique jobs, these are broadly spread into 5 main categories, right? So one is the pilot or the pilot community, one is the cabin crew community or the flight crew, which we are there. Then we have this licensed aircraft engineers who are very skilled and niche jobs. And then we have categorized rest all of them as general vacancies. So we have specific tailored customized career centers suited for each of these jobs. And then we have integrated, as I said, we have to move away from our traditional sources. We have integrated with the social media, where we have built in, the product offers the built-in integration with LinkedIn and as well as RSS feeds. And although, as I said, we wanted a standard and flexible workflow, we have built, based on different jobs, we have different workflows, but all of them again consolidates and finally into a single selection process. So we follow a single selection process, and our systems are integrated to around 14 internal applications, right? Such as for the ticketing system, we have integrated with a visa system. We have to arrange with visas. We are integrated with Mahraba service, that meet and greet systems. So about 14 systems it is integrated, and but also integrated with Oracle HRMS, which helps us or facilitates the recruiters to build the post advertisements based on the job descriptions which are defined in HRMS. And all of these are making sure that we are able to pull out reports. This is what we have done as a key highlights. And let us briefly see upon the benefits each of the different stakeholders it had on. On the recruitment team, they were able to pre-populate the requisitions. Now, requisitions is the terminology which we use for what is the advertisement which is being used for published on the websites, right? So it is given that it is integrated with HRMS, it was able to auto-populate all the job descriptions for each of the jobs, which will facilitate the recruiter's time to actually, very less time is spent on actually articulating or defining the job description. And also, we were able to actually proactively do in parallel sourcing. We didn't have to wait for the requisitions to approve. And then we were able to, in a single click of button, post on multiple job sites. So EmiratesGroupCareers.com is one of the key websites, which is our site. But also, we used to post all our adverts on all the multiple job posts. Eventually, they are directed back to our site, but we were able to instantaneously post it in job posts. And I spoke about the ACE process, where it was helping them in funneling out the candidates and giving us the top-notch candidates for the recruiters to confuse. And then, again, going through the database, as I said, again, I keep repeating the volume because volume is the biggest challenge and a pain point for us. Because our database, and I'm sure our colleague Dinesh will cover as part of the data migration, the existing system, we had to migrate 14 million records. And this 14 million records is not for 10 donkey years, but it is just for the last 5 years, right? So we keep applicants only for 5 years or more, and 14 million unique applicant records is where there, which is in our database. So the ability for the system to perform the search capabilities becomes very of immense importance. And the new system was able to offer us all the faster capabilities with regards to doing filters and get that finite list of candidates. And also shade those candidates to the line managers, right? That was one of the capabilities which was not there in the previous system. And at the single stage, we were able to integrate, given our integrations, we were able to track the status of what has happened to the ticket of the candidate, if we are flying him in, what has happened to the visa status. They were able to do that. And at the same time, also schedule the interviews and record all the interview contents in the system. This is what the recruitment were able to, the recruitment team were benefited. From an external candidate's perspective, again, they were, specific career websites which were suited for the candidates. We had enhanced the application to have it integrated with social media. We had resume parsing capabilities. That is, the candidates did not have to fill in the whole application form. Just by uploading a document, the application form were auto-filled, and all the candidates had to do was, verify. So earlier, previous record, previous statistics with regards to filling an Emirates group application form was about 33 minutes. And that has come down with this feature to around 6 minutes, where all they have to do is verify and submit. And also, the mobile capabilities was introduced, and also a self-schedule. I spoke about that. Candidates were able to actually self-schedule themselves for assessments and interviews. This is just to give you a quick overview of how the site looks. And again, given the product capabilities, it allows us to brand the way we want, right? This is the way our site was before we moved into the system, and this is the way the site is after we have moved into the system itself. So the complete branding aspect is supported by the product. And internal candidates, I will not go into very details, but the key message is that they were able to search and apply for the jobs. All the personal details, which the performance details, attendance details, and rostering details, all of those which are there in our e-business suite are also integrated and available as part of their profile for them as well as the candidates to view, so that they don't have to fill in the whole application form and have to submit. It is already integrated, and all they have to do is just update the covering letter. And we also, the product doesn't support the capability of seeking the feedback from line managers or seeking their approval. So we are in the process of working with Oracle to build that in-house tool to seek that feedback from line managers. And the hiring management, and this is where the biggest benefit we as an organization faced, and was one of the biggest challenge from a change management perspective, right? The hiring managers in the previous, before we went into the system, it was like a black hole. Recruitment used to give them a set of CVs. Hey guys, this is the candidates which we have. They did not have the capability or the opportunity to go through the database and see, is there any other candidates which the recruitment has missed out to see, or anything of that functionality was not there, right? So with this new system, we have empowered the hiring managers with the capability to browse through the database and see the candidates for themselves, and collaboratively work with the recruitment team to shortlist any of the candidates for the interview process. But again, having said that, this was just limited to the vacancies which they have, or the candidates which they have for their vacancies. It's not like it is open for the entire data bank, so that the security is covered. And also, Kim has briefly showed us about the Danata International. For us, Danata is an organization where we are growing organically, and then we have joint ventures which we have across the globe. And we have, now the system is capable for them to also use, so that they can also use our data bank, and so that we can use candidates or share candidates across the organizations. That is also possible. And then last but not the least, the recruitment management team. They have, the tool offers fantastic dashboards, but that is very limited only to the recruitment solution. However, we have built an in-house tool, to support that process, because we need data from multiple systems, and only then there is a complete dashboard and MIS has been done for the organization. And the biggest benefit or the user adoption increases only when we ensure that the communication is managed well, or the change management is done well, right? And so this is where our biggest focus was for this implementation. We had phased it out in 3 phases, right? One is prior to the launch, we had created a lot of roadshows, awareness sessions across the different organizations. We went to the various departments. We tackled at multi-levels, right? We went to the head of the departments, showcased them with a roadshow as to what is that is going to come, how it is going to change their way of working. That was done. This was done, over a period of 3 months before the launch, right? So that we were keeping up the buzz of what is going to happen. And also we used multiple channels to, reiterate the change that is going to come. And, we have an in-house magazine called Suffer. We have a HR newsletter which is propagated on a quarterly basis. We had our site itself. We were leveraging our Emirates Group site. We have about 350 unique visitors on every fortnight for EmiratesGroupCareers.com, right? So we wanted to leverage our Emirates Careers site as well as one of the medium to propagate that what is going to come and how it is going to help their work. And apart from this, we had this information leaflets and posters which was helping them to propagate this change. And just before the go live, we ensured that a hands-on training is given to around 180 plus recruiters in our organization, which is spread across different departments, across the world. And we have developed an online course to help the hiring managers, because hiring managers have never been familiar with the tool earlier. So we built a tool or an online course which helps them go through the whole application, and they know what is expected and how are they expected to use the application. And finally, once we have gone live, in January. Since then, we have about 210 applicants which we have received till date. And we created a awareness story and published our success story across the organization, and it is well received across the organization as well. Just to summarize, what we ended up doing is trying to have moved away from a traditional D2K based application to a state-of-the-art talent acquisition system, which was very intuitive. We empowered the hiring managers and also empowered the recruiters with the dynamic search capabilities. We were able